So, for the questions on the second page, I put the last 3 questions in your book on the second page. So I thought we would do something similar together first. One of the questions is talking about positive definite, negative definite. You know, all these has to do with our discriminant and A, isn't it? So how do we play with discriminants in the application of this stuff is what we want to do. Find the value of M for which this has a repeated root, no real root, 2 distinct roots. As we have done in the past, something determines what category the root belongs. What is that again? And that is where you begin. So from here, what is A from this equation? B is, and C is 1. So your discriminant is B squared minus 4AC, which is negative 3 squared minus 4 2M, right? And that gives you 9 minus 8M. That's your discriminant. Okay, that's where you begin. Then the first part of the question. Of course, you may write here question A, but of course, part of question A will be used in B. Or you could just leave this as, okay, introductions, kind of. Then you begin your question A. Let's present reasoning. If it has a repeated root, no chorus answer, what happens to discriminant? Yes, sir?
9 minus 8M equals 0.
Repeated root, yes. Discriminant will be 0. So in this case, I would like you to explain, not just that is equal to 0. Okay? For repeated roots, discriminant, all right, here discriminant is equal to 0, which implies 9 minus 8M is equal to 0. And if you solve that, I'm going to skip the steps. Okay, I'll just do it. Right? And then your M is equal to 9 over 8. B. We'll do B together and you sort C yourself in your notes. What happens when we have 2 distinct roots? Raise your hand. Carolina.
The discriminant has to be bigger than 0.
For these 2 distinct roots, so for 2 distinct real roots, because complex roots also could be distinct, discriminant has to be greater than 0. So which means you are having your discriminant 9 minus 8M to be greater than 0. So which means minus 8M is greater than minus 9. What happens here? Yes, sir?
You divide negative 8, but the sign flips.
You divide negative 8, but the sign flips. The sign flips when? Whenever you
multiply or
divide by a negative number. We need to remember that. That's from our IGCSE stuff. So M will be less than 8 over 9. No, 9 over 8. My bad. Okay? So for the C part, DIY. Do it yourself. Let's come here. Now that gives a linear inequality. Of course, you may not be that lucky all the time. Okay? These are questions that may give quadratic inequality. So let's pay attention, Mr. Marco, that includes you. This function is in terms of M. The variable is X, but M is hidden. Find the values of M for which this function cuts the X-axis twice. Again, in the previous lessons, we've talked about what happens when it cuts, when it touches. So I ask the question again, especially those that have not responded today. What is that key factor that determines this classification? King. You want to repeat my question? Do you understand my question? What is the key factor from what we have learned that determines this classification? When the curve cuts twice, when it is touches, there is something key that we did that determines this classification. Okay? Ryan, do you have the discriminant is the same thing we are still talking about. The discriminant determines it. If this is your x-axis and you have this, What is the discriminant talking about here? Ryan?
Is it less than 0?
Try again.
One
This is
zero?
the more than 0. If you have this, this is what?
Less than 0.
Less than 0. And if you have this, it is what?
Equals to 0.
Equals to 0. So these are the 3 categories. Okay? How it touches, crosses, or whatever also tells you about the nature of the roots if this was to be an equation. Please, you need to remember this. Okay? Now, so this is the idea. You have to start with discriminant. Again, your A is what? Together, everyone. Your B is
5.
and your C is.
Plus 12.
So again, you find your discriminant. You can use the delta sign or use capital letter D. That one is fine by me. Okay? So discriminant is B squared minus 4AC. That is 5 squared. I didn't put the bracket here. Why?
Because it's positive.
Because it's positive. So the bracket, if I put a bracket, it will be considered what? Redundant. A redundant bracket. You know what redundant means, right? We talked about that. Just think of redundant as someone you employ for doing nothing. Just give them the money, tell them to stay at home and watch Netflix. Rather than, oh, you come to work, they suit up every morning, but they're actually not doing anything. So they are redundant staff. Just say, okay, I run charity organization. Here is the money. You stay at home, take care of your family, and I give you money every month. That's better. So 4m and m plus 12. So this is 25. Then we can open this bracket. 4m squared, yes?
Yep.
Minus 48m. I can rearrange. Minus 4m squared because it looks quadratic now, right? 48m, then plus 25. Right?
Yes.
So you see, whatever we have, we are now dealing with quadratic. It could be quadratic equation, it could be quadratic inequality. So then we start the first question. When it crosses twice, okay? So again, you are communicating in the language. Find the value for which it crosses twice. And it crosses, or it cuts, right? That's the word. It cuts the x-axis twice.
So, Mr. Daniel,
Yes, sir.
wouldn't it be easier to find the roots first? Like with the discriminant?
That's true.
Because then you don't need to do it again every time for all
Yeah, let's do that. That's true. He has a point. Do you understand what he's saying? If it is factorizable, let's factorize first, so at least we have an idea. It makes sense. Smart guy.
Thank you.
Okay, can it be factorized? What are the factors? Okay, let's do it together. Remember, I told you, you always do first whatever, right? But before you can factorize, what do you need to check so that you don't waste your time?
The discriminant
Check the discriminant.
of the discriminant.
Check the discriminant if it is something doable. If your discriminant gives you a square number, it's easy to factorize. Otherwise, you might need to, have your sign diagram and all those kind of stuff. Okay? And maybe you have a decimal root or something. So if you check your discriminant of this one, of course this is a discriminant of the original problem. Don't get it mixed up, okay? So the discriminant of this problem, minus 48 squared, right? Minus 4, 25. Am I making sense?
Yes.
Somebody calculate this quickly. And this will be 100 plus 400. What is this? What is the problem?
No, but you're
Check
looking
the
for if it's a
discriminant,
square.
Kelly. Just check what I wanted to check.
2,304.
When it is bigger number, let this by digit, please.
2304.
2304. Yes? So that will be 2704. Find the square root of this number. 52. If you have this situation, you can factorize. And you will have integers in the coefficient in the bracket. If you don't have this situation, don't waste your time trying to factorize. Apply formula method if you need to know where it crosses. Okay? Anyway, now that we know, then we can try to multiply the first and the third terms. Also, because this is negative, And because it's factorization, you can put it at the back. Should I leave it this way or put it at the back?
Leave it this way, take this way.
Leave it this way? Okay, so quickly. 100, factors of 100.
Oh, 50 and 2.
That gives this, 50 and 2. Easy to spot, right? So we have 4m squared minus 4m squared. So I put the 2 first because of the 4, right? Is it minus 2 or plus 2? Plus 2, then minus 50, then plus 25. Talk to me, please. Understand?
Yes. Yeah.
So from here, minus 2, m. 2m minus 1, correct? From here, minus 25. 2m minus 1 also. Then 2m minus 1 is common. And the rest is minus 2m minus 25. Alternatively, actually, we could factorize minus first. I think that's better.
Or you just take out the minus.
Take out the minus from the beginning so that you don't have to take it out at the end. Hello? So either way you do, you get minus. So I think I would prefer you take the minus out first. But do I need to redo this? Everybody gets it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I prefer you take out the minus first. That's easier. So you don't have to deal with this stuff. Okay, so we know what it is. Quickly, this is the last one for today. Then I can discuss something briefly with the HL group. Because I've given the investigation, your class will take time as well. So A part of the question can begin. Do we need to draw the sign diagram now? I think we should. Understand what I mean? Let's draw the sign diagram even before we begin. From here, what are the roots of this equation?
Half and
1 over 2 and?
25 over 2.
Talk to me, please. 1 over 2 and?
25 over 2.
1 over 2 and?
Negative 25 over 2.
Negative 25 over 2. Does everybody understand that? Yanko?
Yes.
King? Carolina? Anika? Understand why it is 1 over 2 and minus 25 over 2? Okay, great. So, minus will be for the first, then 1 over 2. Please don't forget what I said a few weeks ago. I still see people who write domain of a function 2 comma minus infinity. Why are you staring at her? Is she one of them? It's like, oh, Melody, that's you. I'm not saying it's Melody. I don't even think it's Melody. Do you understand? So please, be careful. Smaller number first. This is a number line. They're not going to tell us that negative infinity, 2 is here, but negative infinity is here. Like, dude, no, it's the other way around. Okay, so we have this, miss. Okay. Let's see, what can we impute? We can input 0. 0 is easy, so that's why I love to use it. You put 0 here,
Positive.
gone, negative 1. You put 0 here, gone, positive. And there's a negative here, so that's positive there. Understand?
Yeah.
So this is positive, then this will be negative, negative because they are alternating. Alright? So with this prepared, then the rest of the work is easy. Alright. So it says when it cuts twice. Cuts x-axis twice when your discriminant is greater than 0. Isn't it?
Yes.
Your discriminant is this, which means when, so you can copy the factorized form. When minus 2m minus 1, 2m plus 25 is greater than 0. And this is the sign diagram for your discriminant. So automatically, you're talking about here. So you have done most of the work, the rest is just to write a conclusion. So which implies that what? Together?
Negative 25.
Negative 25 over 2
is less than x.
less than m. M,
sorry,
not x.
M. Less than half.
Not less than or equal to, please be very careful.
Is there any option the number line be m then not x?
Oh yeah. Thank you for that. Okay? Focus, please. Hey, focus. Thank you. B. It touches. It touches x-axis, when what happens?
Discriminant is 0.
When the discriminant is equal to 0. Which implies, you check, when m equals, because it touches here. Okay? It touches at those points. It doesn't say it touches once. It says when it touches the x-axis. So that's the point where it crosses, actually. Understand? So it touches when your discriminant is equal to 0. When this happens or when this happens. Hello? Are you with me?
Yes.
Then the other one, the last. It misses. It's like I miss you, something like that. So when it tells x-axis, I miss you, bye-bye.
Discriminant is less than 0.
When discriminant is less than 0. I miss you, mom, bye-bye. Okay. So, again, when this inequality, if either you write inequality or you write the non-factorized form, it's fine. Okay? But I just think this is easier. It's less than 0. Again, who wants to try? Don't raise your hand, especially if you haven't spoken today. So it's open to Ada, Jensen, not Giselle, Denise, sorry, Anika, only. Come on. Oh, did I skip Melody? Okay. I know you're not invisible, but it's not open to you. Come on, come on, come on. There are 2 parts. Just tell me half of the way. Yes? There's no X here. M smaller or equals to negative 25 over 2. Okay, hold on right there. Do we all agree? Okay. You see, I'm your only friend. They said no, they don't like you. I like you. Yeah, I'm your only friend. What? Okay, change the sign. Greater or equal to, do you agree? They still say no. Why are you talking to Melody? Leave Melody out of this. It's your mess. Clean it up yourself. Look at the sign diagram. Look at what we want to achieve. Everything is in the sign diagram. Ada, have you figured it out?
I was thinking.
What?
Oh,
Okay, okay. What?
Not equal.
Not equal. Is she right now, everyone?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, we said less than 0, which means when the sign diagram is negative. When you put equal, it means you are insisting this point is part of it, but that point is not part of it, right? Only the negative, so it is this. Okay, the other part, Anika, your turn.
M is less than.
What do I write next? Or?
M is less than 1/3.
Do we all agree with Anika? Uh-oh, they said no. Anika, look again. No. I didn't ask you to tell me. Anika, come on. You always go back to where, everybody?
Sign diagram.
Again?
Sign diagram.
Sign diagram. Look at your sign diagram, Anika. Speak louder, please. It's obvious. Anything above 1/2 is negative. Your result is here. Okay? So it should be greater. Good job. Okay, everyone? So let's take notes and let's finish the second page. If you have questions, please ask. Over the weekend, or maybe even starting today, I will be posting the investigation for the next thing. We're going to go into transformation next. All right? We're going to talk about translation, stretching, and all that. And I'll be posting investigation on Edmodo. As usual, you can edit directly on Edmodo, or you can download like we always do. I need that investigation done before you come to class. Depending on how many. I might put like 1 or 2 or 3. Please take your time to do them. Preferably if you can complete everything before you come. It's just going to be check on decimals, write a comment like we always do. All right? I need that done before you come. Okay, they're taking pictures. All right. Thank you very much.